It appears several Trump supporters are walking back that support and that Joe Biden is getting several endorsements, including from a former challenger.
We are back with Democratic strategist Deshandra Jefferson and Republican strategist Marissa Martinez. Ladies, very interesting new ad strategy from American Bridge. They found several Trump voters who now regret their vote and were willing to talk on camera about it. Of course, they're voters in key swing Midwestern states. We have the one from, what do we have, Pennsylvania? Let's take a look at that.
The president's a bully because it's his way or no way. He doesn't understand life around here. He thinks he's the smartest person ever. I don't think people believe that. I don't believe Donald Trump is on the side of the American people. I think he's on his own side. If I could go back in time, I would tell myself to beware of the changes that President Trump has made. Voting for Donald Trump in 2020 would be like putting gasoline on a fire.
So we don't know yet, whether this is largely indicative or not. Broadly, I do think, though, that those are the most effective type of ads you could ever run against him. I mean, a lot of the ads, ultimately it comes down to chipping away at that support in the swing states, Marissa. I mean, what do you think?
I mean, I think at the end of the day, look, this ad is obviously put up by
it's a liberal super PAC.
a liberal super PAC. So we can expect these types of things to be thrown in the way of the Trump campaign. Do I think this is going to change the landscape? Absolutely not.
You know what? Here's what's interesting to me, though. There's been this media narrative, and it's partly true. And there's been a narrative from the Democratic side that Trump supporters are like cult followers. They're never going to change. They're never going to change their mind, et cetera, et cetera. And it almost makes that a self-fulfilling prophecy. I do think that this is such a smarter way of going about things, where you show people who may have a similar life to you, live in a similar place to you, seem to hold similar values, saying, I voted for this guy and I really wish I hadn't. It's much more effective.
No, I do agree, because you want to hear from people who are just like you. But let's be honest, there were a lot of mistakes made in 2016. Democrats were not speaking to the entire country. Everything was so segmented. We had the data, the numbers, and it's like we forgot entire groups of people. We assumed that they would be with us when reality they're not. And Campaign 101. Is you meet people where they're at and you talk to everybody. You can't make anyone feel like they're overlooked or their concerns don't matter. And I feel like American Bridge is trying to step in, because we have like 90 candidates right now. And each candidate's talking about their own self and what they want to do. And American Bridge is trying to say, wait a minute, let's talk to these Trump voters. Let's meet them where they're at and let people talk about their regrets or their feelings, or we wish we had. And that's a strong testimonial. If someone says, I would tell myself, be wary. That's a very strong testimonial.
No, it is, and you're absolutely right. Which is that that's what I meant when I said it's a more effective strategy. Which is, instead of MSNBC and CNN being like, you people voted for a Russian plant, like all of this, it's go find somebody who actually voted, who understands, who is from that actual place, and is like, no, I don't agree with this. Ultimately, it seems to me that the Democrats, save maybe one or two candidates, generally are going about this that way, Marissa, in terms of their opposition to Trump. So, look, the day we're talking with the impeachment and so many of these other beltway issues, and just the cultural sneering and preaching that we've seen from elite media and from a lot of the Democratic Party here, they're on track to do the exact same thing in 2020.
I think one of the key things to remember here is this is one ad, from a couple of individuals. Let's not forget that African Americans, Hispanics, and Asian Americans are doing incredibly well under the Trump administration in comparison to previous years. So, while a couple of ads can make an argument one way, we can certainly make the argument.
But then you have to wait. I do have to say that, you were saying, people of color are doing quite well in Trump, but a lot of us are not voting for Trump. His favorability among people of color, particularly women of color, is abysmal. It's not,
Yeah, but last time he only won 5 or 6% of that vote, and if he wins 10,
which and if 10, he does, I would be very impressed.
It's gonna be a big deal.
Look, we all looked at those New York Times head-to-head polls of swing states, and there was a lot of shock on the Democratic side. Oh my God, this guy could win again.
It shouldn't be shocking.
It shouldn't be shocking, number one, but number two, part of I think what was stunning, in particular in the Elizabeth Warren numbers, is she was performing worse with voters of color than Hillary Clinton did last time around. And look, it is even if it's a few points difference,
and that
that's
does make a difference. But let's look at Elizabeth Warren. She doesn't have the same relationship with black voters and people of color that Hillary Clinton has, and Hillary Clinton has been around far longer. So Elizabeth
and had Bill Clinton, who was one of the most popular figures in the black community.
Amen
People forget
to that.
Yeah,
played the saxophone on
I know.
Arsenio
Hall show. I remember remember that too.
Yeah.
You know, so Elizabeth Warren has a lot of room to, you know, make up, but look at the recent elections. Look at who turned down places like Virginia. Look at who's been winning, and look at, there are more people of color who are running and winning office. I would say this is, you know, a group. People of color is a group that Democrats, we know it's the backbone of our party, but we still ignore that.
Yeah.
We still ignore that to our own peril.
No, that's true.
You know, and I think Trump, now he has made inroads among African American men. And if he even just maintains what he got in 16, he still do well. But I think that you're not going to see.
Why do you think that is?
Again, it's that comment that he made, you know, what do you have to lose from voting by me, for voting for me? Because people are looking around, it's like, yeah, things really haven't changed enough under Obama. They haven't changed enough under Bush. Let me give you a try. But it's the same as those people in the ads giving the testimonials. People are looking around and saying, like, you really haven't done enough for me. Yeah, unemployment is low, but a lot of people are still underemployed or are still looking for work. Wages are still, you know, relatively stagnant. People are not doing so much better. This is not a Ronald Reagan moment where, you know, people could say, you know, like, oh, wow, a lot has changed for me in my life and me and my community. And a lot of people are turned off, you know, by Trump's rhetoric, by what they feel is his divisiveness. I think next year you are going to see numbers akin to what you saw when Obama was running among people of color. We didn't get that with Hillary Clinton. But I think we're going to get that with the next candidate because people see what their vote really means.
It's certainly possible. On another front, I actually particularly like this. 133 foreign policy officials have officially endorsed Joe Biden. And I always love that there are 77 former U.S. ambassadors, lots of career foreign State Department officials. Do these people, Marissa, really think that they're helping anybody? I mean, nobody, 2016, in an election where we rejected everything that these people have thought for the last 40 years, think that their endorsement is going to help Joe Biden. I think it's insane. I mean, they truly have not grappled with how much their ideology has been rejected by the American people.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think what's key to point out about these 133 endorsements is that the majority of them came from the Obama administration.
Obama,
so
Clinton,
they are biased, absolutely. But I just question what they really mean. I think average America is not looking at this and saying, wow, hold the phone, 133 endorsements.
They're like, oh my gosh,
Shocker.
like I so respect the people who got us into Afghanistan and Iraq. Let's make sure we listen to them.
And let's be clear too, most people don't vote on foreign policy, but the people who do vote on foreign policy are voting to end the wars that these people got us into.
Oh no, I cannot. I mean, I cannot. You know, agree more. Most people don't know who these 133 people are. If you give it to me, I'm going to have to go on Google and find out who half these people are.
Right. One of them was Nick Burns, the undersecretary. Who knows who that is?
And
so what does that endorsement really mean?
Exactly. What is the undersecretary?
Oh, well, that one just changed my mind, guys.
Yeah. I actually knew Nick Burns
endorsed him.
And not to say he's a bad guy or anything.
But that's so inside the Beltway. That is so inside the Beltway. I mean, again, people. I grew up in the Midwest. I live outside, and Crystal and I live well outside the Beltway. I mean, we're in Virginia, so.
And so they can yell at their friends, be like, "Well, did you know 133 former officials who endorsed him? Like, that's good enough for me." And everybody else in the country's like, "What?"
And maybe that's good enough for the donor class.
Yeah.
Line item. All right, ladies, thank you. Great to see you both.
Tomorrow on Rising, Georgia Congressman Jody Hice, he shares his thoughts on the impeachment proceedings and the 2020 election.
Oh boy, and with so many candidates, policy plans, and gaps, it might seem hard to keep track of what's going on in the 2020 election. Two authors tell us about their new book that they say is an ultimate guide to the 2020 election. Of course, the real ultimate guide to the 2020 election is right here on Rising. Y'all know that. Have a great day, and listen, we're going to be back at 11 a.m. Going live Eastern Standard Time to talk about what's going on in these impeachment hearings. So we'll see you back here soon.
See you in a bit.